What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Desi Lux here to put your bit in a Cobra clutch. You know what's up? Hey man, new mic, new setup. We clean, man. I say shout out everybody in the chat. We on twitch.tv/Desi Lux, man. Every other day we streaming. I've seen more people checking out the streams, man. I gotta check out the streams. I'll be showing love, you know what I'm saying? And they be showing me love. I appreciate everybody in the chat. We checking out this true crime video when the killer was caught 23 years later. Hey, we gotta tap into this, man. I gotta see what's going on, man. Like, comment, subscribe, YouTube. Let me know anything you want to see. We doing all vids, man. Well, not all vids, because then y'all gonna send me some, like, you know, some OF links. We ain't doing no kind of vids. But anyway, let's get into this.
Do you know what happened to his wife?
Yeah, I know she got killed. If you're doing this as an interrogation, you're saying, hey, I'm a suspect. Well, now I got a problem with, you know, so now, I mean, I
This is Stephanie Lazarus.
That
She's
picture
the main
is insane.
suspect in a murder case that's still unsolved after 23 years. The reason is, she's an LAPD detective. The police think she killed Sherry Rasmussen, the wife of John Rutten, a devoted husband who adores her.
Like a killer.
But on the night of February 24th, 1986, things would take a turn for the worse.
You didn't harm your wife, did you, John?
Them people at the police academy didn't suspect nothing. Was she taking a photo like these?
Hey, so do you. Hey, John. What was the first thing you saw?
Saw her lying on the ground. I knew right away that there was.
I just understood what you
After
said.
John claims he found his wife,
It said,
Sherry,
"Don't be farting,
dead
we
on
gonna
the
hear
floor,
that shit."
investigators
Hey, yo,
turn
watch
to a
your-
polygraph to see if
Watch
he's
your
telling
mouth
the
when you
truth.
talk to me.
Now, John, she's not having any problems with an ex-boyfriend or you with an ex-girlfriend.
No.
Has anybody been hitting on her, following her home, or anything like that at all?
No.
After the interrogation, the results showed John failed the polygraph, but with no concrete evidence, he's set free. For over 20 years,
Word.
it remains a cold case. No arrests. Nobody knows what really happened to Sherry. But after all this time, Sherry's father becomes obsessed with discovering what happened to his daughter. As the last person to have spoken with her, he
Can you
knows that
blame
their
him?
final conversation may hold the key to solving the case.
She said that the person that was following her had eyes that could penetrate you. They could see right through you.
How did they not know it was old girl off that alone? Y'all saw that police academy photo? That's crazy.
According to Sherry's father, John's ex-girlfriend Stephanie, an LAPD detective, matches the description Sherry has given. Investigators are stunned because Stephanie is one of their own.
Colin, please have a seat. So, this is, I didn't want to bring this up in front of your squad, but...
I mean, if you guys are claiming that I'm a suspect, then, you know, I got a
Ooh,
problem
she
with,
look
you know,
crazy.
with that. Is that what you're saying?
We're trying to figure out what
I don't
happened.
even think I could look her in the eye. She looking nuts.
Los Angeles, February 24th, 1986, 6 p.m. John Rutten returns
Is that
home
what you're
from
saying?
work.
Huh?
As he approaches the townhouse,
Is that what you're
the
saying?
garage
Is that
door
what
is
you're
open
saying?
and his wife's car is missing. Odd, but Sherry runs the nursing wing at Glendale Adventist, and emergencies are common. John climbs the steps. The front door is ajar. He pushes it open. Inside, on the living room floor, lies Sherry in a pool of blood. He picks up the phone and calls 911.
It's kind of an eerie feeling to be here after 30 plus, almost 40 years. As
that
I
Morgan
walked
Freeman
in,
cousin?
I saw Sherry Rasmussen on the ground. She had been covered with a towel, and one of the paramedics raised the towel for me to see her face, and she had considerable trauma to her face. This is actually a murder.
The scene suggests a break-in, with
Oh,
stereo
man.
equipment scattered all across the floor. Without doing a complete examination, the officer notices that someone has tied up Sherry, bitten her deep on the left forearm, brutally struck her on the head with various objects, and shot her 3 times in the abdomen. She also left deep claw marks on the front door in some sort of desperate struggle. As he outlines all the gruesome details to his colleagues, the policeman can't help but hear
Bitten?
quiet sobbing coming from the adjacent dining room.
I noticed John Rutten. He was sitting at the table and he seemed to be sobbing.
What?
His crying should have been more extreme with his wife laying there on the floor dead.
When asked about his security system, John admits he forgot to set the alarm that morning and isn't sure if he locked the door. He explains that Sherry was still in bed and that the neighborhood felt safe.
You
As
just
suspicious
forgot, huh?
elements began to add up, the police couldn't help but question, why would the burglar pick a townhouse right in the middle of the street?
Burglars don't usually pick a place 5 condos from the street. They want to get away. They pick something next to the street. It's
Makes
just
sense.
strange that they would pick this place. I thought to myself, this is a burglary?
Uncle John and Aunt Sherry are spending Christmas with Rachel on her first Christmas.
Sherry was all about family. Sherry was my big sister. She was my best friend. She would always encourage people, and she always exuded confidence.
I am the oldest sister of Sherry Rasmussen. My dad had called, and he told me that Sherry had been killed. I just started screaming. I couldn't believe it.
Sherry Rasmussen, a young woman with a bright future ahead of her, gifted in school, she entered college at 16, skipping 2 grades. Her father had hoped she would pursue a career in medicine, but Sherry became a nurse instead, convinced it would allow her to balance her career with the family life she longed for. By the age of 23, she had already obtained her master's degree and was teaching at UCLA.
A very good listening technique is while you're doing
she was a
the eye
teacher.
contact. That gives the nonverbal clue to the patient that you are, in fact, listening.
Everywhere, people complimented Sherry for her intelligence, calming presence, and natural leadership. By her late 20s, she had already become the director of nursing at Glendale Adventist, and in the spring of 1984, she met her future husband, John Rutten.
I first remember hearing about John when Sherry called me and told me that she had met somebody at a party. 3 weeks later, I went out there and met John for the first time. I asked John, how did you meet Sherry? And he told me that he saw Sherry from across the room. She had this beautiful smile and laugh. Just seeing him say that and hearing him, I was happy for Sherry.
They looked great together.
This is a sidebar, right? One of the things that I hate about when people pass is everybody try to act like they was the closest to that person. Oh man, that person they might have never known this person or just was acquaintances. But oh man, he was just the funniest guy. Oh, Sherry was just the sweetest woman. And you never really knew that lady. I don't like when people do that. Not to say that because this is like her family and stuff talking. But you already know as people at the funeral capping by how well they know her and how amazing she is. You ain't know that lady. You ain't know that lady. Stop.
They were affectionate, and I loved John because my sister loved John.
However, Sherry's dad, Nels, pushes aside these feelings when he receives the phone call announcing Sherry's passing, as it wasn't from John himself, but from his father.
Telling me that Sherry had been murdered. And so I told his dad, I want to talk to John. And he said, John doesn't feel like talking.
When the Rasmussens arrive at the police station, they finally reunite with John, but
doesn't
to their
feel
surprise,
like talking.
He still refuses to talk, insisting that the police won't allow him. For them, the exchange is unsettling, and John's secretive attitude is difficult to read. The Rasmussens wonder if this is the reaction of a man in shock, or if he's holding back to protect himself or someone else.
I thought his behavior was odd. He wouldn't talk to us. He was more concerned about
You ain't
himself
talking to the fam?
than about Sherry.
Basic homicide 101. Look at the spouse.
Yeah, literally.
It's in her own home. Her husband had just left her that morning. She hasn't been anywhere. You don't have to be a detective to think, I wonder if he did it.
True.
As John is escorted into an interrogation room by a detective, Nels ponders their exchange, or lack thereof. The 51-year-old is sure his son-in-law is lying because Sherry's family, friends, and colleagues all know that in the year leading up to her murder, something disturbing was happening. A strange figure in disguise was constantly stalking her.
She mentioned she had been followed 5 different times in the last week.
This person kept appearing in places that Sherry would go. She couldn't go out.
You ever been followed before? Like you knew you were being followed. That happened to me one time. I was in my car and I knew the nigga was following me. He followed me on foot because it was like a real trafficky area. And then like he was trying to like run up. And then I got up out the car. As in like, what's up? And it was niggas ain't want to smoke. Niggas ain't want to smoke when I raised up out the car, bro. He ain't want none of that.
Go to the store or go to the gym without having this person show up.
And she said that the person that was following her had eyes that could penetrate you.
Bro, them keep flashing her police academy photo.
On top of that,
is like
John's
fucking me up.
ex-girlfriend also began harassing Sherry after their wedding. A colleague of hers witnessed one of the encounters.
She told me that John's ex-girlfriend had come to her office at the hospital, dressed provocatively,
and confronted Sherry about John.
Bro, look at...
And said that if...
Hold on, did you see her?
Dressed provocatively.
And confronted Sherry about...
Bro, look at those pupils, bro. She was definitely on that shit. Gang, what up, my boy? Setting up your room, baby, bet. Look at her pupils, bro. Mad dilated. She was on that good booger sugar.
John, and said that if she couldn't have John, nobody could.
As detectives question John, another officer speaks with the Rasmussens. Nell struggles to process what he's hearing. According to the authorities, thieves killed his daughter in a failed robbery where they stole nothing but her purse and car.
It wasn't a robbery. No, they couldn't convince me of it.
Nels immediately starts talking about the stalking and harassment his daughter suffered during the months leading up to her murder. Still, the officer in front of him retorts that, without a name, there's nothing they can do.
Sherry never disclosed a name for the ex-girlfriend. It would have been nice had we had that, because we would have shared that with the detectives.
Nonetheless, Nels follows up with one alarming incident where John's ex-girlfriend broke into Sherry's townhouse and started fighting with his daughter in her own living room before running away.
One of the original detectives in this
Fighting
case
in their
told
own crib?
me personally they had never heard any of those alleged incidents, and none of them were entered into the official case record known as the murder book.
I just want to thank you all for coming, and I want you to know that Sherry was the best professional in the world. She was the best wife that anybody could ever have, and she was the best sister and daughter. She wanted to make everybody happy.
This is the last time John ever speaks publicly about Sherry. In the audience, Nels Rasmussen sits filled with grief and anger. A month has passed, and the police haven't moved an inch. Nels doesn't know what John has told them, but they never consider his son-in-law a suspect. On the contrary, the police stick to their burglar theory, even stating that the Rasmussens had been watching too much TV when Nels and his family tried to convince them to investigate Sherry's stalker and John's ex-girlfriend.
The first 5 weeks, I mentioned it so many times that he kind of lost his cool with me.
Damn, that's really sad that like you be trying to, sometimes these officers be thinking they know everything, or they think they are so knowledgeable because they have experience, and you could be giving them a clue that they need, and they ain't even gonna take you serious for real until like something else come up and it's right in their face, and now they gotta go back to like, oh, what was that thing you said? Like, not saying all cops, but like, bro, that should be. It's like, bro, I'm like, when you call a 911 operator and they keep asking you questions like, this is an emergency situation, and you over here telling me like, oh, what's your last name? Man, forget my name. We got this going on at this address. Come help. Like, you know what I'm saying?
And saying that there was no need to go there because there was nothing there.
The next month, less than a mile from Sherry's townhouse, an actual burglary took place. A woman coming home was surprised by two men inside. One ran for the door, while the other pointed a revolver at her.
Sherry Rasmussen was killed with a gun. So the question is, are they the same burglars who murdered Sherry? A police artist talked to the woman at the home who said there were two young males. And the
Native
police
American.
artist drew sketches.
Same neighborhood, same time,
Cherokee
same
men.
weapon. However, this time, no one was hurt. Either the police were actually onto something, or fate was playing a cruel trick on the
they're
Rasmussens.
Hispanic.
Convinced the burglary and Sherry's murder are linked, detectives
dudes look
plaster the
Native
city with the
American.
suspects' faces. Weeks go by with no leads, then months. The police eventually find the two items the thief stole from Sherry's property, her car and purse, both cleaned free of prints. And then, silence. For almost 15 years, the Rasmussens have remained entirely in the dark.
I had come to the conclusion in my mind that it was never going to be solved, and it was something that I would have to deal with, the unknowing of what happened.
Bro, 15 years?
In 1991, Nels Rasmussen is back home in Arizona, still carrying the weight of Sherry's unresolved murder. Determined to get justice for his daughter, he follows every development in forensic science, watching closely as DNA testing begins to revolutionize the field. Around the same time, the case's lead detective retires, handing over his stalled investigation to someone else. For Nels, it feels like an opening. He wastes no time and contacts a new man in charge with a plan he believes could break the case.
Nels Rasmussen, reading about DNA and the advances that's brought to criminology, offers to pay for DNA testing in the department.
God damn it, did my camera just freeze? All right, whatever.
Department says no.
Correct. It's just not the way the quote-unquote business end of the department works.
Before Nels can convince anyone at the LAPD to give his idea a shot, something very strange happens. Various pieces of evidence related to the case mysteriously disappear. Not only that, but someone trims the murder book of half its contents on the premise that it has grown too large for the cold case office storage room. The mishandling of the case is becoming increasingly difficult for the Rasmussens to bear, who continue to try to get in touch with the police or speak with someone, anyone, who will take them seriously.
As a father, he had felt a responsibility to protect her. And the only way that in her death he could protect her was to find out who killed her. He would constantly re-dissect, the information that we knew.
For the next 10 years, every time the case changes hands, the family flies from Tucson to Los Angeles to meet the new detectives. And each time, Nels and his two remaining daughters return home heartbroken by their lack of progress.
They put us in an interrogation room.
They were trying for years.
They came in with a little skinny folder about this big. They did meet with us, but it was also it was like a show.
It's now November 2001. The LAPD can no longer ignore advances in forensic science and establishes a cold case unit dedicated to DNA profiling. Sherry's file, now 15 years old, lands on the desk of an overextended detective with no time to treat it properly. Instead of letting it gather dust, the case is handed off to a criminalist, Jennifer Francis. She begins combing through the boxes of evidence herself and eventually stumbles across a detailed entry about a bite mark Sherry received during the struggle with her killer.
It was a alligator clutch.
Strangely, the file claims investigators sampled only one blood type, but bite marks should always yield two profiles, one from the victim and one from the perpetrator. The entry seemed to suggest Sherry might have bitten herself, a theory Francis finds baffling. She knows the original detective failed to recover prints and other key evidence from help. She digs through someone from his forensic team and swabs the wound. With her boss's help, she digs through boxes upon boxes of paperwork until she uncovers an old property log from 1986, listing the crucial swab she has been searching for.
I checked with our evidence room. They didn't have it. I looked at our property reports. It's not booked.
How could that happen?
Incompetence.
That happened a lot?
Yes.
But Francis refuses to give up. She calls every coroner in the city until she finally gets a lead. After spending 6 hours combing through the morgue's freezers, an LA County coroner informs her he had found a torn envelope with its fading label damaged. Against all odds, the glass tube containing the swab was still inside and in one piece. She immediately runs a battery of tests, and the result points to an unknown female, directly contradicting the theory of a male duo. Further down the file, Francis also learns about Nels Rasmussen and his numerous attempts to inform the police about Sherry's stalker and John's ex-girlfriend. Francis's own theory begins to take shape. What if the two were one and the same, and she was the one who bit and killed Sherry? But when Francis brings this to the detective, he dismisses it outright and adds one detail Francis has yet to learn. John's ex-girlfriend is not just any woman. She's an LAPD detective.
Well, this plays to everybody's favorite conspiracy theory, that cops
cover for other cops.
no matter what.
You're out of your mind.
Did you tell the detectives that John's ex-girlfriend
you're out of
was a
your
member
mind.
of the LAPD?
Well, that's how I identified her.
Why do you think it
Ooh,
was
his teeth was
that
crooked.
detectives didn't look at John's ex-girlfriend?
I think it was because she was a police officer.
Why can't that just be sloppy police work? Why does that have to be a cover-up? Why can't that be just sort of tunnel vision and a rush to judgment?
They're more intelligent than that. You got to give them more credit than that.
Unbeknownst to Nels, his only ally at this time is within the LAPD. Jennifer Francis relentlessly pushes the case, first to the cold case unit, then to the scientific division, later to robbery homicide, and even to internal affairs. Yet, everywhere she goes, supervisors turn their attention not to the evidence, but to her.
Crazy.
They question her mental state, claiming she's too emotional, paranoid, and obsessed with Sherry's case. Soon, Francis is ordered into mandatory counseling with an LAPD-sanctioned therapist, a move that, inside the department, brands her as unstable and potentially unfit for duty. Even worse, the sessions aren't at all concerned with her well-being, but rather with what she knows about the case and who she has talked to. For Francis, this is no longer a matter of paranoia or conspiracy. This feels like retaliation. A deputy DA calls her crazy, colleagues treat her as a liability, and systematically push her off major cases. Around the lab, people belittle her, telling her to get a hobby. What she doesn't realize is that she is retracing the same path as Nels Rasmussen, who, decades earlier, had also been ridiculed by the authorities, despite being the only one able to see through the conspiracy.
Well, I tell you, working hard.
In November 2009, everything changes. Francis receives a call from robbery homicide. A detective named James Nuttall is asking about her findings. She has been waiting more than 5 years for this moment. The Rasmussens, 23, but fear holds her back. She feels like she can't trust anyone anymore. She tells the detective that she doesn't believe it was a burglary and that the evidence may have been tampered with, but she doesn't share her theory with him. Yet Nuttall has her results right in front of him and quickly puts 2 and 2 together. He knows that the only DNA not matching Sherry's belongs to another female and has already read dozens of letters Nell sent over the years, urging police to investigate John's ex-girlfriend. From this point on, the detective decides to form a secret circle within the homicide department with Jennifer, who came to trust him over the first few months of the investigation, himself, and 3 other detectives. Nuttall sets out to prove once and for all that someone from within their ranks violently attacked and killed Sherry Rasmussen inside her own home in 1986.
When they said it was a police officer,
I actually had to switch to the backup. I'm gonna switch to the main one in a second.
Absolutely kidding.
After this video,
police officer committed this crime. I couldn't imagine that.
Nuttall and Francis don't
appreciate
waste a
you,
minute
my boy.
digging deep
The
within
mic
case
is top
files.
tier, though.
They find John's original 1986 interview with the first detective in charge of the case, who, to say the least, was quick to jump to conclusions and not very insistent towards the man who should have been his first suspect.
John, what is your wife's name? Sherry. You didn't harm your wife, did you?
Oh, they re-interviewed him?
Hey, so Hey, John. Couple of minutes, I need you to be tough for me, buddy.
I need you to
Not
be
having any
tough for
problems
me.
with an ex-boyfriend or you with an ex-girlfriend? No. You're a pretty good judge of character. I'm certain you have absolutely nothing to do with this. I believe your house was burglarized today. Once this person's or
this is of that day.
Whoever was inside, I believe they were trying to steal your stereo. Listen here. But I've been through a lot of things. I don't know. John, things happen, okay? I think Sherry came down the stairs.
What am I doing on the 18th?
And he was hurt.
What day is it?
John, John, you know what you call true. Hold it. Deep breathing for this person, huh?
What time?
Little faith in me. Very successful. I want you. Very, very successful.
To Nuttall, something's off with the interview. Why did the detective jump to conclusions so fast? Why did John Rutten lie? According to Nels and Sherry's colleague, his ex-girlfriend was quite problematic, and Sherry wasn't afraid to bring it up in conversation. But what really throws Nuttall off is that there's nothing else to listen to. In 23 years of investigations, 3 other detectives reopened the case, but none of them ever considered conducting a second interview with John to ask about Nels's claims. but he knows he won't be the force to pass on the idea. He contacts John, who relocated to the Bay Area, remarried, and
Saturday?
had children
What
since
time?
then, and sets up an interview. From the get-go, he adopts a very different tone, wasting no time to bring up his ex, the story at the hospital, the home invasion, the stalking. He doesn't miss a beat and even recalls information that had never been recorded in their files until recently.
They said, hey, we got a bite mark here, and that could be a female. And then I said, I got to talk to you about Stephanie. And I told him that she went to go see Sherry.
Did you give the name Stephanie Lazarus?
Yeah, I gave him the name, and I said she's a police officer. Do you guys think Stephanie
Is that
did
8
this?
p.m.?
We have strong suspicion.
One of my concerns is
Got a
that
performance?
was never, appears to be recorded.
And we know by
I'm not trying to be inflammatory.
There's a certain level of frustration on our part.
Yeah,
More should have been documented. We're now forced 23 years later to literally almost start over again because we
This is
we
crazy.
lack the documentation.
Not only does John give their
Them
suspect a
officers
name, he also
wasn't
explains that
doing
while
their
he and
job.
Sherry were engaged, he had been cheating on her with Lazarus, even though he knew she was obsessed with him. In college, when the two were dating, she used to
You cheated on your wife with the stalker, bitch? Jerry. Man, you done turned this into an episode of Jerry Springer. Jerry, you gotta get it together, man. What's wrong with you, man?
steal his underwear and sneak into his dorm to take pictures of him as he slept.
He should have been frank with her instead of leading her on and kept putting fuel to the fire.
He tried to protect himself by diverting the information about Stephanie.
He didn't behave as a husband that loved Sherry.
By that point, Lazarus is no longer a police officer, but a full-fledged detective. She's armed, and her office is just down the hall from Nuttall. To make sure nobody intervened with their investigation.
Bro, look, she always had that psycho look on her face. This is a villain. She's got that villain look. Yes, sir,
as
I'm
they
in
had
there.
with Francis,
Send me the info,
the
bro.
detective decides to send men to follow her around and recover anything she throws in the trash. From this endeavor, they recover a used soda cup and send it to Francis, who then confirms that Lazarus's DNA matches the one found on the bite mark. Nuttall then prompted his team to lure her into the LAPD suspect treatment unit,
They
the
got
only
her.
place in the
They
building where
tricked her
no
and they
guns
got
were
her.
allowed, and to falsely claim that they needed her help for an interrogation with a difficult suspect.
Come, please have a seat. So
They
this
tricked
is,
her and they got
I
her.
didn't want to bring this up in front of your squad, but
They said, yeah, we need your help with something. Come on, let's
You
talk
know
to
John
us.
John.
Finessed her.
Rutten.
Oh yeah, I went to school with him.
You did?
Yeah.
Were you guys friends?
Look. Oh, I went to school with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we dated. You know, I mean, what's this all about?
Well, it's relating.
As soon as I get a flyer, I'm gonna send it out. Yeah, do that, bro.
Well, let me think. God, it's been a long time ago. Yeah, I mean, I don't, you know, again, I mean, what, you know, I don't understand why you're talking about some guy I dated a million years ago.
I figured out why my camera went off. It's because
Yeah, I know she
I
got
didn't
killed.
turn it off.
Did you ever fight with her?
Last
You
night.
mean like my father?
They've been running
Did you
all
ever
day.
duke it out with her?
No, I don't think so. I mean,
The camera been
remember
running
that,
all
right? That
day,
would be
y'all.
pretty-
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I would think so. I
Pretty
mean,
specific,
Yeah,
you know.
I forgot
like I
to
said,
turn
I
it
mean, obviously, you know, I mean, it just doesn't sound familiar. I mean, what are they saying? So I fought with her, so now, I mean, they're saying, okay, I fought with her, so I must have killed her. I mean, come on. I mean, that's insane. I mean, if you guys are claiming that I'm a suspect, then, you know, I got a problem with, you know, with that. Okay?
Ooh, you look
So,
crazy as hell.
You know, if you're doing this as an interrogation, you're saying, hey, I'm a suspect. Well, now I got a problem with, you know, now you're accusing me of this? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that
Stephanie,
is
you
what
know
they're
you have the
saying.
right to remain silent. Do you understand?
Yes.
Anything you say may be used against you in court. Do you
We
understand?
caught you.
You have the right to the presence of an attorney.
Caught
before
you,
I answer any
dumbass.
question. Do you understand?
Yes.
Do you want to talk to us right now?
No.
All right.
Okay.
This is crazy. This is absolutely.
I'm sure it is crazy,
I'm
Stephanie.
in shock. I'm totally in shock.
Yeah, you thought you was good. It's
They
23
were
years.
kind enough to come to our home and let my parents know that they had made the arrest. I mean, I cried because I was so excited
number one, the justice for my sister.
Congrats on the setup.
But also
I'm trying
for
to
my
get my
dad.
shit ready for.
Nels
Gotta
was
move
upset
first
with
though.
me.
I
And
feel
he
you,
was
gang.
very animated. It was sort of like, Detective, where have you been for the last 2 decades? I
I
have
haven't
explained this to your
worked on
organization. I've
the
explained this to your
background setup yet
investigators.
because
He was
I'm
always
planning on moving
diverted.
too. So
He was told repeatedly that he'd been watching too much TV.
For the first time since Sherry's murder, everyone is on the same side. Jennifer Francis presents her DNA test results and recounts the retaliation she endured within the LAPD. Nels Rasmussen steps forward with the warnings he tried to give from the start and how he was ignored for decades. And John Rutten, whose testimony had been tampered with and whose contact with Sherry's family was restricted by police, finally speaks openly. Together, they testify.
The fact that Sherry's death occurred because she met and married me brings me to my knees.
Nuttall's investigation takes 4 months. The trial
fucked
lasts
up.
3 weeks. The jury comes to a conclusion in less than a day. After 26 years of struggle, Sherry and her family finally receive justice.
less than
The
a
jury
day.
in the above entitled action find the defendant, Stephanie Eileen Lazarus, guilty of the crime of murder of Sherry Rasmussen.
It was just like a
Oh,
rush
she got
of
packed up
relief
immediately.
that it's over.
Relief for my father that he finally was vindicated and he had his answers.
Man,
In
salute,
2023,
man.
Lazarus
Ooh, she
admits
still look
37
crazy.
years too late that she killed Sherry. In exchange for her confession, she's offered a shot at parole.
She
By then,
admitted?
Nels had already passed away, but before his death, he recorded a statement to be used at hearings. The board saw it in 2023, and it will be shown again whenever Lazarus attempts to get released in the future.
If one looks at the damage that she did to my daughter's face, it's almost like she wanted to destroy the beauty that Sherry exuded.
Today, Sherry's legacy continues, not only through her family's long-lasting fight for justice, but also in the lives of the Rasmussens' next generation.
My mom always told me stories about when Sherry and her were in nursing school and how Sherry really liked the hard cases with the cardio patients. I always thought, well, you know,
The fact that she
I
was
can totally
free
see
for
why
that
she
long,
would totally love this. The
only because of the
nursing and taking
cops,
care
bro.
of people. And
The cops helped her stay
I went
free.
into nursing school because of my Aunt Sherry.
My youngest daughter, Jessica, got married in February, and my mom said, well, why don't you try on Sherry's wedding dress? She liked Sherry's wedding dress, so my mom said, go ahead. So she took a little bit of her aunt with her on her special day. That's one example of how we keep her in our lives every day.
Man, that's fucked up, bro. Hey, man, W video, yo. W video. I just think that, yeah, this situation was a lot of neglect from them officers, man. Them officers was neglectful, B. And she was able to get away for a long time. Thank God there was that one female officer who was just super persistent and packed her up, man. Let me know any of the videos y'all want to see. Twitch.tv/DesiLux. Every other day, we streaming. You see us, nigga. Anyway, YouTube, love y'all, man. Peace.